Welcome to our channel, where we put misconduct on display, explore police and legal matters, protect your rights, and demand accountability. In this episode, an independent auditor is calmly filming outside a police station, fully within his rights, when an inspector and several officers intervene, accusing him of harassing a private car from a public space. Within moments, they threaten him with arrest, despite having no legal grounds. The auditor stands his ground, dismantles their claims, and exposes their unprofessional conduct, a confrontation that ends with a formal complaint and a chief inspector forced to respond. The opening seconds say it all. 4 officers, led by an inspector, march directly toward the auditor.
Hello?
Are you doing the news, please?
Just having a look at your cars now, really. Just saw his PC was idling up there, and I figured she was going to be coming out in a second. So, yeah, just waiting for... Oh, my days. Hang on, so we got an inspector, a PC?
Yeah.
PC? Inspector. So we got 4 police officers for a man with a camera.
Right.
But it's quite intimidating, isn't it, having 4 people come out?
Well, there's private vehicles there as well as vehicles that are unmarked.
Sure, but
I'm just wondering what your purpose
but it's quite
is.
intimidating having 4 officers come out and across somebody with a camera.
You're here on police premises.
Yeah, but
so
like 4
we need
people.
to
Really?
establish whether there's a security issue.
Okay.
So, do you want to talk to me about what you're here for? I've got no issue with you filming, but as I've said, there's private vehicles.
Yeah, it's not my intention to get those. If they're in the background of a shot, they're in the background of a shot. But I'm not here to.
I'm not doing a news piece. Do you want an interview? I'll talk to you if you'd like to have an interview.
Not particularly. No, just want to have a look around. That's all. Just like to look around.
I saw you obviously trying to walk around there. So I was just wondering.
You should be careful with the information that you say like that, because I wasn't trying to walk around.
There's no pause to observe, no assessment, just immediate intervention. The inspector starts with the classic soft opener, claiming she has no problem with filming, then instantly sets the hook. She mentions private vehicles in the car park, subtly implying that anything the auditor does next could be a problem. Right on cue, her colleague makes a confident claim that the auditor attempted to enter the private car park. That's not a description, it's an accusation. Close to the line? Yes. Illegal? No. But if you can convince everyone that he intended to cross it, you suddenly have grounds to intervene. She repeats the phrase private vehicles twice, creating the impression the auditor is somewhere he shouldn't be. The reality? Those cars are visible from a public area, which means filming them is completely lawful.
I was stood there for a good 4 minutes watching you in your vehicle, and I saw the sign saying no unauthorised access. So don't tell me that I was trying to walk places where I wasn't. Be careful with things like that.
Have you got the footage that you need?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
Okay, but I'd like you to leave, because as I've said, there are private vehicles there, that you've got some footage. You've got enough, there's nothing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the footage that I was getting was actually interrupted by the PC stopping and coming out. But so I'll probably wait around to see if any more vehicles come in or out, see if I can get one on blue lights.
You shouldn't do that, because as I've said, there's private cars coming in and out. Officers don't want you recording them coming and going from duty, because that presents a potential security risk.
Well, they shouldn't drive to work then, really, should they? If they're that concerned.
You have no business to film the private areas that are off limit to the public.
I have every business to film anything that's visible from a public area.
But my point is, you shouldn't be going up there, which is what you've done.
I haven't gone past the signage where your signage is. It doesn't say the signage. The signage is the signage here saying that I can't go further than this, or is the signage there saying I can't go further than?
Repeating the phrase softens the ground for the next move. The inspector decides she has enough footage, not because of law, but because she declares it so. She then pushes a false narrative through her colleague, warning the auditor not to go further. She hasn't seen him cross any boundaries or checked signage herself. She's simply adopting an accusation and delivering it with authority. But the auditor knows the layout better and points out the obvious. The restricted zone starts further ahead. He hasn't crossed it, and the law is on his side. The inspector's next response is jaw-dropping. My personal vehicle is there, and I am asking you, as a private individual, not to violate my personal space. Personal space, in this context, it makes no sense.
My personal use, public interest.
Well, my personal vehicle is there, and I'm asking you, from me to you as a private individual, I'm not comfortable with you violating my personal space.
It's not your personal space. It's
Well,
a
my vehicle there, my private vehicle is there, and I'm
Okay.
not comfortable with you filming that.
Well, if you hadn't announced that it was your private vehicle, nobody would ever
But
have
I'm
known.
telling
now.
you it is, so
No, you
therefore
are
I'm
doing
asking
now.
you to stop. Yeah,
Well,
just
I'm not going to.
courtesy.
It's in a public
In which
area.
case you'll have to be removed to prevent the breach of the
For-
peace, because you are
How am I
here.
breaching the peace? Do you know?
You've
Do you know what?
already-
Do you know what? Do you know what the threshold is for breach of the peace?
You already have enough footage, so I'm asking you to leave.
Okay.
You're creating it. These
No.
officers aren't able to get on with their policing
I'm not
duty.
stopping them.
She's in uniform, on duty, referring to a private police car park that belongs to the force, not to her personally, and is clearly visible from a public vantage point. There is no personal space over an area you don't own and cannot legally shield from view. The auditor cuts straight to the point, reminding her that it is not her personal space. She doubles down, saying she's unhappy with her vehicle being filmed. The irony? If she hadn't mentioned it, no one would have even known. She created the connection herself, turning something anonymous into something personal. That's not a privacy breach by the auditor, it's a tactical blunder by her. Then she tries to back her feelings with force, threatening that if he doesn't stop filming, he will be removed to prevent a breach of the peace. That's not lawful.
Individuals, as I was getting on with a matter that's of concern to the community, and I've got an individual on police premises filming not only the police cars coming and going, but officers arriving for duty and leaving again. That causes me a concern.
So you're working on conjecture there, because I have specifically said that that is not my intention.
I've said to you, you're causing me a concern, so I'd
Okay.
like you to leave.
Well, you're concerned. You know, do you police by your feelings in this country, or do you police by what the law is?
I'd like you to leave.
Do you police by
I'd
what?
like you to leave.
Do you police by what the law is, or do you
Sir,
police
I'm gonna
by?
get the officers to take you away, because you are not.
Am I in a public place?
There are officers having private conversations about cases in the backyard of the police station.
Well, they
which
shouldn't
is
be.
not-
They shouldn't be
and you
having
are-
that conversation in that sort of place.
But you shouldn't be there within the scope of being able
I can
to
be.
film them.
Do you know you can film anything you can see from a public place in the UK?
Okay.
Is this a public place?
This is a public place.
There you go. So if I can
you
film
are-
it,
let me put it a different way. If you stand at the end of my driveway at home, which
Sure.
is a public place, repairable at public expense,
Sure.
and you film into my window, is that acceptable?
is this your home? Do you live here? Do you sleep here?
But these are private premises. Beyond this line here, you are filming from a public into a private space. Is that
Okay.
permitted?
Yes.
Breach of the peace is meant to prevent imminent violence or disorder, not to stop someone from exercising a lawful right because an officer feels uncomfortable. Hearing the auditor insist he is in a public place, she tries to trip him up with a classic hypothetical. Filming the windows of a private home may raise privacy concerns under certain laws, but this isn't a home. It's a police station, a public workplace with no expectation of domestic privacy. The auditor calls her bluff immediately. Is this your home? Do you live here? Law treats private residences very differently from public workplaces. She attempts to recover, saying he is filming private premises from a public spot. True, it's private premises, but lawfully visible from a public area, it can still be filmed. Her driveway analogy is a red herring, shifting the argument from legal to emotional.
Repeatedly, then you could potentially take action about harassment. But at this point, I've been here once only, to come and get some footage that I want to.
Just on footage for a couple of minutes and then you can leave.
No,
please.
you don't put a time. You don't put a time limit on my
I do put a
rights.
time limit on you, and
No.
I'm telling you.
Do you know what
now,
Article 10 is of the
you are-
Human Rights Act?
You are causing me personally harassment and alarm by filming here.
Go talk to Lord Justice Bean about it. The police have a much
You
higher
have 2 minutes
threshold.
to leave and then you're going to go.
No,
Otherwise
I'm
you'll
not.
Be arrested.
I'm not.
Sure you're-
Arrest me?
Yes,
You're going
be
to arrest me.
arrested.
You'll be hearing from my
Absolutely.
solicitors, and you'll be having a civil suit on your hands.
Okay,
Arrest me for
give
what?
me
What?
solicitors'
What are you going
details
to
and
arrest me
let
for?
know. You are causing a nuisance.
What are you
here.
going to arrest me for?
Either public nuisance or harassment.
Public nuisance.
Yeah.
So under the new legislation that came with the public. So
You've got your opportunity to film.
So
I'd like you to not film or certainly delete anything that has details of my personal vehicle or that of any other police officers there, and then I want you to go. All right?
you don't put a time limit on my rights.
From getting on with
No,
the
I'm exercising my rights here, and you don't put a time limit on that, Inspector. Inspector what? Blackwell? Thank you.
No, you all right with me? Yeah, go and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, see, I'm obviously not that much of a concern because you're allowing them to go about their business, yet you're threatening to arrest me. Tyrants here at Stamford.
The inspector's final move before retreating into the station is pure threat with no legal backing. She tells the auditor he has 2 minutes, then threatens arrest for being a public nuisance. This is where the whole facade collapses. Public nuisance is a serious, specific offense historically tied to acts that endanger life, obstruct public rights, or cause widespread harm. Quietly filming in a lawful location doesn't even come close. This is a misuse of authority, plain and simple. Since 2022, under Section 78 of the Police Crime Sentencing in Courts Act, public nuisance requires substantial harm or risk to the public. Someone quietly filming in a lawful spot does not meet this standard. The chief inspector's response is just as telling. He merely justifies that the inspector was within her rights to ask what the auditor was doing. Asking questions is one thing, but this interaction went far beyond that. False claims, the personal space narrative, baseless threats of arrest, and framing lawful filming as a breach of the peace. None of that falls under within rights. The auditor never broke any law, yet concern is presented as justification. Concern is subjective. Legally, it is meaningless without reasonable suspicion of an actual offense. The footage shows the truth. Professionalism isn't just avoiding shouting or swearing. It's about applying the law correctly, avoiding baseless threats, and not pushing personal agendas. The inspector failed on all three, claiming personal space over a police car park, leaning on an inapplicable driveway analogy, and threatening arrest with no legal foundation. The chief inspector had the evidence, yet rubber-stamped her actions. If the standard now allows inspectors to issue baseless threats and mix personal feelings with authority without consequence, internal reviews protect the badge, not the public.